Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the Super Trucker Podcast. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you get notified of any future content. And today we're kind of going to do a question and answer type thing on some ideas that we have or some experience that we've seen in the market when things get a little tight, a little lean, and what you can possibly do to find success. And we always say we try to thrive while others try to survive. So Christian, what you got for me?
Yeah, well, that's the thing too, right? There's always everything is correlated. The up calls, the volume of phone calls on the recruiting end start to come up. Obviously, when the market starts to dip a little bit, and I believe the correlation behind that is if it is real bad where I'm at, it must be better somewhere else, and that's not necessarily the case, nor the answer to the problem.
Is
right?
the grass always greener on the other side?
Yep. So and kind of like we've mentioned in previous videos, jumping ship isn't always the answer. I mean, you'll kind of see people. I've seen people call in and possibly want to switch on dedicated lanes, same for $5 on the load. They get paid per load.
Yeah.
But $5 does it mean you go from a drop and hook to not a drop and hook? What kind of dispatch?
What's associated with it? Yeah.
What kind of culture is at that company? So there may be a lot to lose. It's not just about that $5. So there's a lot of moving pieces to this, but kind of on that tangent about when it's lean, what are some things that an owner operator could do to protect his business, her business in a lean market?
So we see it all the time. We're 100% owner operator company. We see it with our owner operators, and don't get me wrong, we have some that really struggle when things get tight, and then we see some that begin to thrive. And you ask yourself, what's the difference? They can even be with the same dispatcher. That's the part that I always find amazing. You can have the same company, the same dispatcher, the same tools and resources, but two different drivers approaching it two different ways, because we don't force dispatch here. No. With that being said, so everybody understands our platform in regards to it, before the comments are blasted below about how we're wrong, right, or indifferent, understand that this is just our opinion on how things happen here at our facility. Now, if you're a part of a different program, these may not actually necessarily line up with you, but you can find some truth in them and some understanding in it, no matter where you are, company driver, whatever the case may be. I get it's not for everybody. So let's just have that disclaimer out there. We're not saying that we know it all. We're not saying that we found the perfect plan, because every day can be a struggle sometimes, even in the perfect market. You see what I'm saying? It just depends on the situation and how to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, what we are saying is you can make money. We got guys that make money.
Absolutely.
There is, you can still do that, just adapting your business a little bit.
So, number one rule, when things get tight in the market, okay? I'm not going to discuss pay rates. I'm not going to discuss all rate per mile, okay? Because this video needs to be, I'm giving a lot of disclaimers before I talk here, and I know people are like, just shut up and get to it. I will. But I want to be clear, because we try to be honest, transparent, and effective. And so with that being said, I'm not going to discuss rate per mile or anything like that, because this video should be relevant 2 years from now. Because if this plan works today, it'll work 2 years from now, and the rates could be something completely different in 2 weeks from now. So I don't really want to talk a dollar per mile type deal. I'm going to trust that you guys know what you're doing, and you're just going to hear some of these things. So number one rule, things get tight, things get lean. Do not stop moving your truck. One of the biggest things I see right away.
Ding, 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 ding.
Man, I'm not moving my truck for that kind of money. I can't do it. I'm going to sit at home. Okay, well, guess how much money? I get it. Last week you made X amount of money, and projected this week you're going to make this amount of money. Is this week going to be less than last week because last week was better? Absolutely. It absolutely will be worse than it was the week before. However, let me tell you 100%, I can't read the future. I can't predict, I can't read your palm or anything like that. But I can tell you this, and you can take it to the bank, 100%. If you sit at home and you don't move that truck, you will make nothing.
Big goose egg.
And something is better than nothing. I'm not saying go out and run crazy, lose money. I don't want everybody, again, to take that the wrong way. Like, well, I'm not going to run. I don't say go out and run 2,000 miles for $1 a mile. Get it? That makes no sense. I understand that. But if it takes a certain amount to get out of a certain area or go to a certain area, and you take the hit there, you're going to take the hit on the chin at some point. And if you're saying, I'm not even going to take that hit on the chin to get out and make some money, this makes no sense at all.
Right. So basically you're trusting the process. Listen, you got to be in it to win it, right? Because if you're not in it, if you're sitting duck because you need a certain rate per mile to move the truck, that rate per mile may exist somewhere else, but you got to get there to do it.
And you'll never see it, because at home the rate per mile is 0.
Yeah.
It's at zero. And what happens when things get a little tight? Pride steps in. Guys, listen, I get it. You own this vehicle. You've invested into this vehicle. You've invested into yourself as a company. You're the moneymaker. I understand that. I respect that. But to let pride step in and say, you know what? I'm not going to work for this amount of money. I'd rather just stay home because I can. That's asinine. I mean, it really is.
But trust me, you're not the only one with the investment, because I'm pretty sure that carrier has invested in you as well. And it's going to be resources. You may have your own tags, your own insurance, and you have that, but they have also invested in you. The investment is to create a partnership. So that partnership, it's a mutual thing, because I mean, if think about it this way, what if your dispatcher said no loads today because there's nothing over $2 a mile? What if he just gave up just because of that? Didn't even call you? What happens then? Is that good business practice?
Well, a lot of times when we reverse things and we look at it from a different way, kind of lets us self-check. So drivers out there that are experiencing dips in the market, no matter what year, no matter what, I mean, this is not reflective of just a right now. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised that 2019 has been a rough year. I've seen so many videos, so many companies going out of business. My heart breaks. I'm sorry, but this should come as no shock. 2018, we were all fat and happy. Everybody and their mom was buying a truck. I mean, you flooded the market with trucks, and now we're shocked that, oh my God, the truck to load ratio is off-putting. Spot rates are dropping below contracted rates, and we're all surprised by this. I mean, we can't be. Did we expect it to last this long? I would say no. But okay, so things got lean. But do we still find success in that? Absolutely. How? Well, let me tell you another point. Drivers will say, I only want to run this area. This is the area that I run. You cannot let your pride and your stubborn mindset of what you will and want to do, and you become accustomed and comfortable doing. That's like saying, hey man, here at Voyager, this is the job that I do. Ask me to do anything else? Absolutely. Anything else? My answer is no. I was hired to do this job. This is the only job that I'll do. But then turn around and tell you that I'm interested in seeing the potential growth of the company. We all have to wear many hats here to see this potential growth to continue on and move forward. We have to do things that might not be what we would normally do, but we have to adapt, and we have to and this is not just truck driving, this is anything.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, what you're really doing, you're restricting your business, right? Yeah, let's say I open a barbershop, but this is my market share, but I don't open on the weekends. I want from here to here. And then that's what happens. And so instead of charging $15 per cut, I'm gonna charge $30 to offset what I don't open.
Right, and
pretty soon I have no customers.
You open a barbershop and you say the only thing I do is shave heads. You're in a niche market. You've limited yourself to only a small part that's available here, and that's when a driver says, "Hey, for the last 10 years, all I've ran is Southeast." I respect that. When the market is there and we run the Southeast, let's do it. But when it's not, and we can be more effective in a different area, because that's where you have to be skilled and find out where we should be at, what's paying, where is it hot right now. Get your trucks there and find that area. And hot today, I mean, I said I wasn't going to use rates, but hot today can be $1 a mile. If that's what's hot, guys, you got to understand. I mean, I maybe seem a little unrealistic. I get it, but I'm just saying, in theory, if today the hottest load is $1 and everything else is 75 cents a mile, then $1 is a hot commodity. You can't turn your nose up to it and say, I know everybody's watching it, hell, I'm not moving my truck for $1 a mile. I get it, man. I'm just using that as an example. But that's the kind of silliness that we encounter constantly with stubborn drivers and people that are too prideful to adapt a little bit.
Well, and then that's exactly what was successful last week doesn't mean it's going to be successful this week, because the area changed. So your game plan has to change a little bit. And remember, we can look in the mirror and also say, stubbornness can come from your dispatcher.
Absolutely.
If they found success doing a certain lane and you run in the triangle and you do it again, and then all of a sudden is not yielding the same kind of settlement, well, shame on you. You should change the game plan.
Yeah, you ride that pony till it dies, but you better know when you start to feel it fatiguing and be smart enough to get off.
You have to have that relationship where you're dialoguing about, about, hey, this is no longer going to work. Have that hard conversation first. I know you like it. I know it's comfortable, but it's not going to, financially, this isn't going to make sense anymore. No. We have to switch it up. So, all right, so we got it. Rule number one, keep that truck moving.
Wheels not moving, you're not making any money.
What else you got?
Well, speaking about being willing to adjust the way you run, I always highly recommend you as a driver take that ownership and that responsibility in educating your dispatcher and how to run you more cost effectively. So sometimes our goal may be a large gross. It may be like, hey man, run me as hard and as far as you can, put the biggest amount of money on it so that my net is so and so after any type of deductions. Fair enough, I get it. That's not a bad idea, but in a tight market, you may want to readjust that. It may be, hey look, now I can be more effective by cutting my miles down, finding that right area that's going to allow me to run short miles. And I'll use it for instance. We had a driver who is used to running southeast only. Man, he is not a northeast. Don't send me to northeast. I'm not going to do it. I have no interest in it. And he still wanted to net this certain amount, and based upon his cost. I'm looking at it. I'm dissecting it. I cannot figure out. Honestly, I'm not, like I said, we're human too. I'm limited to the resources that I have. And when I've looked at my resources and I go, you know what? I don't want to lie to you, man. I can't do that right now. Yeah, 2 weeks ago I could. Today I can't. But I don't stop there, man. When that wall gets in front of me, I don't go, oh my God, there's a wall. We're not moving forward anymore. How do we get through this? How do we get around it? We're going to make it together as a team. If I don't have the idea, I go to you. If you don't have the idea, we go to Mike. If we don't have the idea, we pull the dispatch team. We're going to look for it somewhere. We're going to lift every rock until we find a solution. So for this particular guy, again, guys, I'm not saying this is the answer to everybody's problems. Don't hold me to this, but this was a solution for this guy. We sent him to the Northeast. We lowered his mileage so that his fuel cost and his operating cost significantly dropped. We made sure we strategically, kind of look at the tolls. I get it. I understand there's some tolls up in the area. However, we are able to run this guy and actually net more than if he was putting up the big numbers that he's looking to gross. Was it easy? No. Was it easy to convince him? Even more no. However,
he's there, right?
He's there, he's bouncing around, and he's freaking happy as a fat kid eating cake, baby. Okay?
But that's what it is. He just adapted his game plan. He likes to run tight in the Southeast.
Absolutely.
You're gonna ride tight, but just a little bit further from home. Northeast, and it's not snowing right now. It's not snowing, so there's a lot of these factors, and possibly could it have been a little bit, could you accomplish the same in the Midwest somewhere? Whatever the case may be, like kind of Mike was saying, this exact game plan is not for everybody. There's a particular load probably that took us there, but the success is there. The thought process behind it, where just be adaptable. Staying home isn't going to resolve anybody. Staying home isn't going to, company X isn't going to pop up with the loads that you are magically looking for. This is just business. This is market. This is supply demand. This is learning to roll with the punches and have a team behind you to help push you along and make this kind of money and strategically come up with the game plan. But not only that, because folks, it don't stop right there. It's executing the plan, the grit behind the plan. Actually working the plan is what makes it successful.
So, with that being said, there's always a number 3. Number 3 is communication for me. And why I bring this up, we've kind of touched on it before. It seems like when the stress levels rise on both the dispatcher and the driver, communication gets muddy. And no one wins in that situation. And I'll be more specific. The driver feels the pinch. He's trying to figure out what to do to keep his operating costs down. The dispatcher feels the pressure from the company, from the driver to continue on the normal path that they had been on. Market comes in, swings a hard right, catches him on the chin. Holy crap, nobody's seen it coming. Boom. Is it going to be a knockout, or are we going to get back up for our standing 8, brush ourselves off, and get right back in the game? More times than not, what happens is that because of the stress level of the dispatcher, the stress level of the driver, the relationship that was the most key relationship. I tell all my drivers, listen, I get it. I may talk to you once a week. I may not talk to you but once a month. But you're going to talk to your dispatcher every single day. That is your key relationship here at any company. and especially at this one. So why not make it the best one? But it seems to be the very first one that hits the rocks. They get pissed, they get angry, and then they call me and they're like, hey man, I'm like, did you tell your dispatcher any of this? Oh, no, man. No, I didn't tell him anything. I'm like, communication is more key in this time, I think, than any other time or any other situation.
Right, because I think perception gets lost. Remember, this is business to business. You need them as much as they need you. It's a combination of that. And the more the more information you share, the better they can help protect you in certain situations, right? You're going to be late to a customer and so forth. Just let us have it. What's the truth? You got sick. You had to pull over. It happens. I mean, it happens. Things happen. But the more, not answering the phone isn't a solution, and then everybody's scrambling. People are getting even frustrated. Remember, it's business to business. We need each other in order to be successful. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and don't think or take for granted the fact that a dispatcher may not even have a 100% understanding of how you are trying to cut your costs. I mean, you may have sat down the night before in your cab while you were, waiting on your 10-hour break, and you have game plan written all out how you're going to want to run, cut your costs. For some reason, as humans, we automatically assume once we have a plan that everybody else knows our plan automatically and they all should be lined up with it, but they're not. And so when the dispatcher says something that's completely backwards from your plan, you get frustrated. That frustration is relayed back to them. They get frustrated because they don't understand. Man, take a minute and have a 5-minute talk. Instead of the two of you guys complaining about what's going on, spend 5 minutes talking about what a good solution is. Yeah. Point in case, had a dispatcher the other day, he was having a driver in the same situation. Mark is getting a little tight, and they're struggling with one another on how to communicate. And I'm like, stop. Just go right now and don't hang up that phone until you have a solution. I don't know what that solution is going to be, but until you have that solution and you're happy and he's happy, don't hang up. And the next thing you know, guess what we had?
A solution.
A solution.
So you're saying we complicate things?
We get in our own way. Sometimes we can be, as dispatchers, as companies, as drivers, we can be our own worst enemy.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're not building rockets going to the moon, right? It's all about communication.
Sometimes that might seem easier. I'm like, I sign up for NASA. Maybe Elon Musk is hiring. We can,
Yeah, and just the communication, as long as both parties need to be receptive. Because again, I'm being honest here. It's got to be on both ends.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
It's just the receptiveness on both ends. We don't create certain situations, you get to the shipper, no one's there to unload you. I'm pretty sure that wasn't created from malice on the dispatcher side. Pretty sure the driver's not lying, so the dispatcher can't get frustrated on the day. So it's a combination of this relationship that has to exist and keep the emotions at bay, because high emotions are gonna cloud your rationalization level and the approach to the problem to tackle it. Then is not going to be the most effective and efficient, because it's coming from a different place than that.
Yeah. So understand, so that we're clear, when we're talking to you guys, it's not talking at you, it's talking with you, because dispatchers probably don't spend a lot of time searching YouTube on how to be a better dispatcher, but we found that drivers do spend a lot of time searching on what is the next answer to what's the solution to some of their problems. And I have respect for you guys, because you're taking the time to watch the video, to learn, to share the video. So again, if you're searching the internet right now and you're all through YouTube and you're looking for the answer of how to find that $3 mile load in this market, then you got the wrong mindset. You need to stop right now, and you need to rethink and calculate what your thought process is. So 1, not moving your truck, not an option. Don't stop working when things get tight. Continue to work. 2, begin to become, be willing to bend a little, adapt, look at things you didn't look at before. I think the best piece of advice, the golden nugget that I can leave everybody with today is, please step back and look at the whole picture. If you won't take the first load from where you're at, wherever it may be, because of the rate per mile, and never give your chances, like Christian said, never give your self a chance to get to the next location that's going to be a little bit better. Look at it from the bigger picture. Stop looking at it on such a finite level and saying, I can't leave, my truck won't move for this, it's not going to happen. That's silly. The only person that's hurting is you. And so with that being said, my biggest advice is take a step back, look at the bigger picture, look at your week as a whole. I mean, if your week as a whole is unsuccessful, then look at it as 2 weeks. If it's unsuccessful, then scratch your head and say, what can we do differently? I'm not trying to say that. But for the guy that won't go anywhere because of that first load, he's hurting no one but himself. So that's number one. Your wheels aren't moving. Look at it from the bigger picture. Make sure you're willing to adapt. Make sure you're holding we always say this, hold your dispatcher to the same level that you're holding yourself to. If you hold yourself to a half-assed level, then don't be surprised if that's what you get from your dispatcher. But hold yourself to a higher standard. That's great advice. Hold your dispatcher to a higher standard. Hold your company to a high standard. And do these things. Be willing to adapt. Look at the bigger picture. Keep the wheels moving. And all that, it folds out to and increase your communication. Yeah. And when you do that and you have a game plan and a solution, don't hang up that phone until you have a solution. If it's today we go northeast, great. If it's southeast tomorrow, whatever it may be, find out what's right for you, do that, look at the bigger picture, and in a tight market, you can learn to thrive when others are just trying to survive.
And that's basically what it comes down to. We got to grind. There's no such thing as easy money in this. We all have to work for it, and we have to grind, but we got to put in the work. Nobody's going to put it on the platter for us. Collectively, we got to work together to go ahead and survive in this market. And that's really what it comes down to. So
be sure to leave some comments. I'm sure this one will probably stir up a little bit. I get it, guys. I understand. I respect you. Good, bad comments either way. Shout out to all those that's left us some comments. We really appreciate the support, guys. Thanks a lot. I had my guy the other day said a couple guys said they saw our advertising on the trailers. Some were good, some were bad. It's okay. We love them all. We respect them all. We're not, we call it the Super Trucker Podcast because we're just trying to help take that level. It's not a bad thing in our mind. You know what I mean? It's a play on words. So, we're not perfect. Our drivers are not perfect. We're all learning. And I even said, hey man, next time you see one of those guys with that on there, go over there and share the YouTube channel with them. They may not be watching. You know what I mean? They may not even pay no attention, but maybe they should. So
and that goes for us. I mean, it's endurance, man. It comes down to drivers, drivers, dispatchers, whatever it is, anything you do, any field that you're endurance, you just got to keep at it. You got to keep at it, and you can't quit. And there's no shortcuts.
Yep, absolutely. So thanks for watching, guys, and as always,
drive safe
and keep on trucking.